Okay, hello, welcome viewers. If you're out there, welcome to another Master Monkey presentation. Today, actually, I'm gonna try real hard to deliver something that has been long promised and long considered a mythological beast, the special SP-202 episode. And so we're either going to cover pretty much all the SP-202 tips and techniques, or we're going to get distracted and do a bunch of other SP-202 stuff and probably refilm this later. If you're new to the Master Monkey Show, I should tell you everything here is live and improvised. This is power only over here. Everything, there's no MIDI, there's no sequencers. Well, there are actually 10 sequencers, the infamous Master Monkey sequencers right here. So you'll see more of that as we get started on the show here a bit later, but not so much with the speed drumming. I think today we will add a little drums because that's one of my standard techniques. But it's mostly going to be about showing you some of the 202 stuff I've discovered over the time that I've been using it. So settle yourself in. I'm going to give people a couple of minutes to get warmed up. As you know, this stream takes a little time to buffer sometimes and such. I don't think there are ads. If you're not subscribed, this would be a good time to click one of those buttons. There must be a button somewhere. And so we'll be back in about 60 seconds.
Welcome to Die Master. Hello. Welcome to Die Master.
Walking up and
Hello. Welcome to Die Master.
walking up and down and
Okay, we are back on with the show then. Let's see, so background, qualifications, that sort of thing. If you just got your SP-202, congratulations. Welcome to, what is it, 20-year-old elite family, as it were, of the lo-fi variety. So I am the original owner of this SP-202. That's probably all I should have to say. But yeah, I have used it pretty much the whole time. Never heard of me because I'm an outsider artist, as I've explained. We don't like to really share our work. Just do it in the back and then throw it in the shade. Once in a while, burn it all up in a pile or something like that. But I'm out of the shed, so to speak. So we got a 202 here. What I'm planning to do, I only got a couple of pads on here, and as you've seen the show before, you see the 202 often plays a pretty extensive role in the show. So what I'll usually do is I'll delete up some pads during the show, during the performance, and then fill them up with patterns and beats. So what you see right now is sort of, I just turned it on a bit ago, so we got some remnants from last night's show. That's this thing. We put that together last night, or whatever, when the last show was. And if you want to see how we do that, stay tuned, because that will be part of this show. All those beats are mine. They come off they're played on this, on the MPX, or sometimes on 404. Well, no finger drumming. Don't get excited. It's not finger drumming day, you guys. It's SP-202 day. This is why SP-202 day never happens, because this happens. See, that's why this is turned off. Okay, back to the 202. So, left over from last night. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. As you notice, this might be common, I think, with other 202 users. I have a couple of samples that I never delete. The rest, I just clear them out and use them for a show. That's these three.
Hello. Welcome.
4.
Hello.
That's my trademark welcome one. You know that.
Hello. Welcome to.
Anyways, regular sample.
walking up and down and turning down sound. You crazy?
This guy. Iron? No, that's not Iron. What is that?
Walking up and down and turning down sound. You crazy?
It's King Tubby. It sounds like King Tubby. Anyway, there's some King Tubby vocals or something, probably Tubby. That's part of my Goodnight song. And then the 2 bits of the Goodnight song, if you've been on the show before, this is the last song we play every stream.
Walking up and down. Walk.
Yes, the drums are ours and everything. So these 3, they stay, and then hello stays. So that leaves, what, 5 pads to screw. No, 4 pads. All right. I'm going to leave that in there for a minute. And here's where I'm going to do this, because we're going to delete this. We're going to fill these up with stuff. So I'm going to show you guys basic sampling techniques that one will discover over 15 years of using this sucker. So, and stuff like that. And a couple of things that I got to tell you are really freaking cool that you just can't do on other boxes. You know, people are like, oh, it's like a really low-tech box, which it totally is. And you say it like it's a bad thing, but it's not. Okay, so quick show off, maybe not really a show off, but we'll show off some more later. I got some really fancy stuff you'll like, but first I'm just going to show a couple of things so that later when we sample new stuff in, you'll recognize the basic methodologies, the basic techniques employed. So a couple of minutes of that. Press record now. You're tuned into Master Monkey. Here we go. Okay, if you've seen 202 stuff before, you're like, yeah, good, that's like tech number 3. You need that one, right? So these are both on trigger mode. That means they stay on until you press it again, right? So you can only do this so fast. If you want to go faster, you're going to have to set it on gate mode. If you want to do it, or you want to go arbitrary speed, like then you'll need it on gate, right? Right? No. There's another way. Yes. Watch, my brethren. What we're going to do is we're going to set them both to trigger. Okay? Both of these 2 samples are set to trigger now. Okay? Now the traditional way to swap them is to have one on and the other one off, and then when you hit them, you use 2 fingers. Okay, and that's pretty swiffy, right? We'll call that the beat jitsu move. Maybe let's just call that the Lord's Prayer. And that's cool. That's pretty heady 202 kung fu. So write that one down, rewind, right? But there's another way. check this out. It turns out, so these are both set to standard phi. Using standard or below, this will work. For hi-fi, it might be slightly different rules, but neither of them has a filter on, right? And they're both playing forward. Now, if you have a filter set on one of them, and you can open the filter all the way. Remember in a minute that I said that. If you have a filter set on this, and you have a filter set on the other one, which can also be open all the way if you like, that means that that exceeds all of the polyphony. So when you have one playing on trigger mode and has a filter on, and you hit another one that's on trigger mode and it has a filter on, guess what happens to the first one? So you should see how that gives you quite a few more capabilities, right? For one thing, you're not having to use two fingers, right? And so these two, they basically set each other off. If you add a filter to another one, which is cool because you can start out doing this. You can start doing that and then add a filter to one of these and it'll toggle it off, right? So check this out. Got it? I know that was pretty rugged with the mic on and all that, but you guys can watch my other shows if you want better quality sound. Okay, so that's what you get out of the fill. I'm going to call that the cross pad filter. So set the filter on. You can open it wide open if you like. This works for either filter. You could also use the ring mod, I suppose. I don't know who's used the ring mod. It's painful. So you set them on two of the samples and then they'll set each other off. So, but there's something else you get with that if you think about it, right? So watch this. Okay, hopefully you guys got that. That's right, there is a retrigger on the 202. Okay, just like on the 404, you have this. You can play a long sample, and if you hit it again, it plays the sample again, which you can't do on the 404 or on the 202. Okay, see. On the 202, you either have this trigger, which means the fastest you can retrigger this is about this fast, and I'm fast. And that's not fast enough, okay? Or you can use gate. That's not a retrigger though, is it? Because it stops as soon as you take your finger off. What you really want is for it to restart when you bring your finger back. You keep playing until you hit it again, which you can't do on the 202, right? But that's wrong, because I just showed you the retrigger trick. Hopefully you were paying attention. So one more time, take notes. Okay, that's the retrigger trick. That's the SP-202 retrigger trick. Meaning for a while to pass that one on, because I haven't seen it actually really used. It's actually it's a natural consequence of the filter cancel trick, right? Filter mute trick. It's just faster. Just keep doing it faster. Everything in Monkey is the same thing everyone else does, just faster. And like in more ways. So, a couple of caveats with that. Obviously, using reverse sample you can't do it because you can't use a filter on reverse, and you need someone for them to mute each other. maybe this is different if you live in a world where you sample everything at hi-fi or something. I do standard. Most people do standard. The 202 is lo-fi enough, actually, that you don't really need the lo-fi settings. You don't gain any polyphony. In fact, in some cases, it kind of screws up the polyphony stuff. Okay, so, pardon me, one moment. I need a drink here. Okay, the next 202 thing. So, like I said, I'm the original owner of this. I've had it the whole time, and it's been through a lot. As you note, the mark button, which is a good segue, the mark button is completely worn off, or almost worn off. It just says, but the numbers are still there. Why? Because you don't really finger drum on a 202 like you do, like you might on a 404, or you definitely will on these. You don't do that kind of finger drumming because the pads are only 18 millimeters for you people who like to talk snappish or whatever they call it about 202 people or SP people. These are 18 millimeter pads. You MPC people, you got your luxurious 30 millimeter pads that are super easy by comparison. So you see anybody finger drumming on these little pads, you should be like, damn, bro. But so, right, the pads, 18 millimeters, not that useful for finger drumming because they don't retrigger like these. So if you hit like a snare super fast, it would sound like that. That's not right. It has to finish the snare cycle. So you'd have to do the retrigger trick, right? So. You could go kind of fast, faster than hip hop, I guess. Not fast enough for monkey though. I'm talking 200 BPM plus 16ths and maybe 30 seconds. So, so it's not useful for that. But when I got my 404, I was like, wow, I can finger drum on this because it does the retrigger. But there are some things that it doesn't do, and here's one of them. Let me see if I can demonstrate. The mark works differently. Actually, so you can see from the 404, my numbers are all worn off because I've used for finger drumming, but the mark button isn't really heavily used. Why is that? That's because on the 202, the mark is an entire school of Kung Fu, okay? There's a whole school of 202 Kung Fu devoted just to just this button, all right? And another one devoted to this button, the reverse. These two buttons, they're your friends. Master them, and you will master the 202. Yeah, actually, that is true. You master those two, you will be a 202 badass. Here's why the mark button's worn off on my 202 and not on the 404. Here's how the mark works on a 404. I'm just going to pick a sample. It's something we can notice. All right, this will work. Got the level down. Okay, so I'm going to take a little piece here. I'm going to mark it as it comes by. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it started when I hit the mark button. It restarted playing the sample at the top of the mark, right? This might work better. Yeah, which is weird. So that's not how the 202 does it. Watch how a 202 does a mark. See what happened there? It just does it on the fly. Like you hit mark and it doesn't stop and then like replay the sample. It just continues the loop on time. So if you hit if you hit mark at the top and the bottom of the right place and you nail it, you don't have to stop. It just keeps going. And this is awesome for a live scenario, and the 404 is completely lacking in this regard. That's why the mark button is practically unused. I don't sit around and do studio work. You guys know how I am if you've seen the show before. It's 100% live improv. So something that I can't do on the fly like that, it's of limited use to me. The mark doesn't get a lot of work on that. So I'll show you some mark stuff here, and you'll see how cool that thing can be. I'm even going to show you like a really cool, couple of cool effecty type of tricks you can do just with the mark. I'm going to use the Goodnight song, okay? It's not Goodnight, I'm just using the song for technique here. tricks you can do with a 202, right? You caught that. One of my favorites, obviously, the trick there is freaking nailing rhythms. You just got to nail them. Okay, it's really simple, in theory. Actually, it's a lot easier than it is on the 404, I'll tell you, because the 404, the storage is not internal, and that's why you can't respond immediately. You hit mark, and then the thing's got to process and go back to the top or something. I don't know. Anyways, the 202 is like a creature, more like. So it just kind of repeats it right on the spot, you know. And so one of my favorite things is like taking a little tiny piece, and if you do it in rhythm, like maybe as a 16th, you can treat it as a 16th or an 8th, and then, like, you know, you saw the filter sweep on it, right? And if you nail it, it can come out really cool. So I'll try to show that again. So you let it play. You take, like, mark off just like a 16th or an 8th or a 32nd if you're really awesome, and then filter sweep it down over the course of like maybe a couple of measures, maybe 4 measures, you know, whatever, and then take the mark off at the right moment, and it will proceed. So I'll see if I can pull that off again a couple more times. So watch.